is this smiling? Okay. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Happy, look, I have to check, Wednesday. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. And I have a really great topic for us today. We're really going to dive into it. Thank you, Lovey. I don't know how a lot of people are going to feel about it, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. That's why I'm here. Hi there. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Let me send this out really quickly. Do me a favor. If you can hear me clearly, put a 1 in the comments for me. And share this with another amazing woman, because we're going to have a very transparent conversation about something that we need to really rap about, okay? We really need to get straight into it. Let me send this out real quick. Because the performative femininity has got to stop. And I'm going to tell you the truth about what it is and what it actually gets you. And it gets you nowhere. But we're going to kind of dive deep into it. Okay? 1. Okay. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. Today we're talking about how performative femininity is a pimp's game. And we're going to talk about several different things. So we're going to get into what performative femininity is. We're going to get into why it's harmful to you spiritually and psychologically. We're going to talk about the cost of staying in that misaligned energy of you not being authentic. And we're going to talk about how performative femininity impacts your relationship with the masculine. And I'm not just talking about, when I say your relationship with the masculine, I'm not just talking about men. I'm saying with the masculine in general. When we talk about the masculine, we're talking about order, we're talking about structure, we're talking about direction. So women who tend to have issues with the masculine tend to have issues with men in general, consistently, okay? Because you don't necessarily understand order, direction, and structure, or you don't respect order, direction, and structure. So we're going to get into that, okay? And we're going to talk about the spiritual law that you're violating. So go ahead and share this with an amazing woman that you may know. My name is Elle Antoinette, if you don't know who I am, and I am an energetics and identity mentor. And what I do specifically is that I guide amazing, and I do mean amazing, powerful women to master their energy so that they can embody their true identity, which supports them in magnetically attracting success, influence, intimacy, leadership, and all of these things, without burning themselves out. Okay, so my work and what I've been able to do is that I have helped a multitude of feminine leaders, coaches, founders, and I've supported them in dissolving their invisible ceiling so that they can restore their nervous systems, clarify their identities, and reclaim emotional and spiritual rhythm, because that is really what matters. So a lot of the women that come to work with me have done really well in society. They've done well by playing, by the rules of society, doing this so they can get that, but they're exhausted from wearing the mask. They're exhausted from, allowing themselves to kind of be exploited by societal systems, because the corporate system, it's just like other societal systems, they exploit you for their gain, and they pay you very cheaply to exploit you, okay? And so women that come to work with me, they're tired of that. They're tired of being exploited by systems. They're tired of being exploited by men. They're tired of exploiting themselves. And one way that women exploit themselves is with performative femininity, because performative femininity is a pimp's game. Thank you so much, love. And I'm going to break that down. Hey, my love. And I'm going to break that down and talk about that, okay? Because a lot of women don't understand, like, the tricks and the tips and the things that you're trying to use on men is really a pimp's game, and a lot of you are not pimps, and which is why you end up being played in these positions. And so, like I said, we're going to dive directly into that today. Let me tell you who this live is not for, just in case you need to make an exit, baby. Okay, because I would hate for you to be somewhere that you don't need to be and you don't want to be. Okay, thank you so much for these likes and these gifts. And make sure that you share this with another amazing, powerful woman who needs this information. Okay, so this live specifically, let me tell you who it's not for, because today we're talking about how performative femininity is a pimp's game. Okay, so this live is not for the woman who is looking to, or how can I say this, who wants to look aligned but does not really want to correct her posture to actually be aligned. Okay, this live is not for that woman. This live is not for the woman who is addicted to the aesthetic but avoids accountability. This live is not for that woman. Okay, this live is also not for the woman who prioritizes being chosen over being in covenant with themselves. This is not for that type of woman. So I'm gonna say it again, okay? This is not for the woman who wants to look aligned but does not want to correct her posture to get in alignment. This is not for the woman who's addicted to the aesthetic of things but avoids accountability. And this is also not for the woman who prioritizes being chosen over being in covenant with herself. Okay, this is for the woman who has mastered performance. You've shown up for society. You've done everything that society has told you to do. You followed the rules. You went to school. You did this. You did all of these things, but you still feel emotionally bankrupt behind the scenes. This is for the woman who is tired of using femininity, okay, as a costume instead of her core, because that's truly what it is. And this is also for women who are truly ready to trade performance for power, manipulation for magnetism. Okay, so if you're in that space and you want to come out of that, then this is live is going to really be for you, and it's really going to support you. So let's go ahead and just get straight into how performative femininity is a pimp's game. And I really want y'all to come out of the game. I want y'all to come out of the game, because truthfully, you're playing a game that you don't know how to play, and you're continuing to be played because of that. Okay, so I want you to come out of that. So let's go ahead and get into it. If your femininity requires performance, it isn't feminine, it's literally programming. Okay, I want you to understand that. And worse, more than that, it's literally a pimp's game that you're playing. Anytime you're performing feminine energy, dumbing yourself down, doing XYZ to try to appear more feminine and yada yada yada, that's programming, and you're literally playing a pimp's game. You have been sold somewhere along the lines in life. You've been sold, or you've sold softness for validation, seduction for survival, and compliance for currency. And I'm going to tell you something, why what I'm talking about is so important right now. Because like I told y'all the other day, a lot of women are in trouble because y'all ain't been doing your work. Y'all ain't really been getting yourself together. You haven't been refining your gifts. You haven't been refining your skills. And a lot of you are going to find yourself in a space as times get harder, because things are going to get more difficult. You are going to find yourself going back to exes that never respected you and never honored you, or linking up with men just to be married so you'll have somebody to take care of you, seduction for survival. Okay? Or you're going to enter into the world of SW work. It's SW. And that's just the truth. And I have a coach who is one of my really, really great friends, and she says women who know how to use their intelligence never have to use their body to make money. A lot of women, because y'all are playing these games and y'all are performing and y'all are not focused on the things you need to be focused on, you're going to be using your body to get resources. And I hate that for y'all, because here's the thing I don't think people understand when it comes down to women who operate in that type of work. And I don't judge women who operate in that type of work and who do that type of work. Let me be very clear on that. I am no judge to them or of them. But what I need you to understand is that women who operate in that environment and in those settings, they have to turn off an aspect of who they are. They have to turn off a very human aspect of who they are in order to perform. And whether you realize it or not, that is literally what you are doing when you are performing femininity, which makes it a pimp's game, and you're really not a pimp, which is why you continue to get played. Okay? So a lot of you, like I said, have been sold softness for validation, seduction for survival, and compliance for currency, which is why you compromise yourself to get cash flow, because you don't understand your own value. Because you don't understand that you are time, you are energy, you are attention, and you are money. So you position yourself, okay, You position yourself in such a way to get it by compromising who you are. And I'm just telling you the truth. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. I really need y'all to understand that. Women have really, especially right now, a lot of you have been sold softness for validation, seduction for survival, and compliance for currency. And you are doing things that compromise your soul. Truthfully. You are doing things to compromise your soul, and you are wondering why you're unable to thrive in this society. You cannot thrive and operate like that. All those things that I just said, none of those things are rooted in your original design. None of those things are divine femininity. None of those things. It literally, and if I'm calling for what it is, it's literally spiritual prostitution disguised as elegance. That's what it is. Because you're hoping to be able to seduce the person in order to gain control of what's happening in a scenario. The femininity that you're performing isn't attracting your future. It's feeding your captivity. And I'm going to say it again. The femininity that a lot of you are performing, it isn't attracting your future at all. It is actually feeding your captivity. You are a slave to this. And see, society has a lot of systems already set up in order for you, to ensure that you become a slave. But this is how you enslave yourself, by falling into the trap of performing. And that is what a lot of you are doing. And I have no judgment for you when it comes down to that, because guess what? A lot of us were taught to perform. We were taught as children, a lot of us, to perform. But I'm here to tell you that femininity should not feel like a job. It should not feel like something you're performing. It literally is your birthright. So when women come on here saying, you need to be more feminine, they're not saying you need to alter and do all these things. You need to be more like yourself, because you're feminine by design. And you forgot that. You missed that. So let's get into what exactly is a pimp, and why I say that performative femininity is nothing but a pimp's game. A pimp, by definition, if we were to use the verb, if you are actively performing your femininity, this means that you're in a pimp's game. And pimp, by definition, the verb is to make use, often dishonorably, for one's own gain or benefit. I'm going to say that again. What is a pimp? In the verb tense, meaning if you're acting this way as an action, verb is action, right? So a pimp or pimping is to make use, often dishonorably, for one's own gain or benefit. Now let me explain something to you about spiritual law for those who lack understanding and who are not rooted in spiritual law. Whatever you attract under false pretenses, you're not going to be able to keep. And it literally tells you this in scripture. It tells you in scripture that anything that you obtain from evil now, and to be manipulative about your original purpose and what your true intent is evil. That's what y'all say about men. That's what y'all say about them when they don't reveal their true intentions to you. You label them as being evil. You label them as being all these things, where you are operating from the same frequency when you are performing femininity, trying to gain your own benefit, i.e., let me get money out of him. Let me tell you something, and I try to explain this to women all the time. It is not hard to get money from the masculine. It's not. It's not hard. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to maneuver. You don't have to do any of these things. You just have to show yourself as being valuable. People invest in what they deem to be valuable. And if you deem yourself to be valuable, and if this person values you, they're automatically going to invest in you. It's nothing for them to invest time, energy, attention, or money into you. You don't have to perform for that. This is what a lot of the men on these apps are trying to tell you when they say if a man really wants you, it ain't really nothing you got to do outside of just breathe. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. If you are an asset and you are deemed to be valuable, people are going to invest in you, point blank, period, the end. They'll chase you down for the investment. You don't have to manipulate to be able to get it. That's you operating from pimping and thinking that you pimping, when in reality, you're in violation of spiritual law. Because here's the thing, you're showing up with dishonorable intent. So your intent is not proper, which means you are sowing a seed of deceit into the universal algorithm. The universe is an algorithm created by the Most High God. And it is the largest responder. It's better than TikTok. It's better than the Wall Street algorithm. It's better than it's better than any algorithm because it's going to catch everything. It never misses anything. So your intent to be a pimp, your intent to perform in order to obtain something, that seed is going to manifest into the universal algorithm and it's going to be returned unto you. Probably in a way that you're not going to appreciate, like, or love. It's actually probably going to hurt your feelings. Because you can't do a deed and operate from a space of evil and not expect evil to be returned unto you. It just doesn't work that way. That goes against the law of sowing and reaping. If you, whatever you sow, you're going to reap. If you sow ill intent, you will receive ill intent. And a lot of women are very shocked about the things that they get from men and the responses that they get from the masculine. And I don't know why you're shocked. I don't know why you're surprised when you were participating in a pimp's game and you got played. It's the equivalent to when you hear people in the street talk about don't snitch. The reason why they're saying don't snitch, because how are you going to be a part of the game and then turn around and try to tell on the game? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Same thing. So let's get into what performative femininity is and what it actually looks like. Performative femininity is when you shrink for safety and call it softness. That's you not wanting to rock the boat. Thank you, my love, for these likes. That's you not wanting to rock the boat. It looks like you decorate disempowerment and call it divine. It looks like you over nurture to earn proximity. This is you wanting to do everything for everyone just to get close to them and just to be around them. And specifically, a lot of women like to do this when it comes down to men, and they're trying to figure out why men are disgusted by that. They'll take it, but they're very disgusted by that. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Because here you go. When you over nurture something, it's like over watering something. Hey, my love. It's like you over water a plant. Do you understand if you over water a plant, it'll die? Do you know that? You can give up as much as plants desire water. You can overwater it to the point to where it dies. Same concept when it comes down to you trying to over nurture to earn more proximity. I just want to be closer to you. The more closer, it's kind of like personal boundaries. And women really miss this. I don't know how, but women truly miss this. If you can understand the concept of being in the grocery store and somebody being too close to you to where you got to turn around and be like, can you give me 50 feet? This is the same thing that a lot of you are doing in your relationships and how you deal with men. You're overly nurturing, hoping to get closer to them when they honestly are repelled by you. And this is what it talks about when it comes down to chasing. Let me cook for you. Let me show you I can be a good wife. It's the auditioning. Women ask me all the time, how do I know when I'm in a space where, I'm in trouble necessarily in my relationship? Because they know I don't really do the boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I don't agree with that. But if you are going to participate in that experience, when they ask me, the minute you feel like you're auditioning for a role is when you need to examine yourself. The minute you start auditioning, the minute you start cooking and cleaning and cooking to prove, or you start doing this and showing all these different things, this is where you need to start paying attention to yourself, because now you're in performance mode. You're trying to prove that I'm such a good girlfriend that I deserve to be a wife, which is why I don't agree with the boyfriend-girlfriend concept anyway. Because to me, you are auditioning for a role. And I know some people will say, well, how do you jump from not knowing somebody into marrying them? I didn't say you need to do that neither. I said that there needs to be a process. But who told you? And it could be a courting process. But the dating process of exclusively dating, it doesn't really make sense, because eventually you start auditioning. Because if the longer you're there, the more you're hoping that things are going to transition into the next level, right? So you're consistently auditioning for a role, which is draining. So then you are over nurturing, and then you're doing this, and then you're doing that. And next thing you know, you become this person's mama, and they don't want you no more, because they don't want to lay with their mom. They don't want to be with their mom. But then the first thing comes out of your mouth, well, you took all of that and you accepted all of that. Of course, just like people keep accepting all the free samples at Costco that you ain't finna buy. Just like you walk around Costco sampling everything, just like the little Asian man that be in the mall offering free chicken, and you take it and you ain't hungry and you ain't finna buy nothing. People are always going to take what is available and what is free. If you deem yourself and your price point to be free, then people are going to always come and take of you freely. If there are no boundaries, if there are no standards, then people are going to continue to run over you. That is just the way it goes. And to have the mindset that people should just treat you right, and because you treat people right, is insanity. Why? Because you live in a society that lacks morals. Are y'all crazy? How you out here expecting people to be fair and you don't live in a fair world? You operate fairness in your community, in your tribe. You make sure, if that's the rule and the law, you make sure that is coordinated in your community. But when you walk outside them doors, nobody owes you nothing. And the world will show you they don't owe you nothing, which is why it tells you in scripture, you will know people by their fruit. Stop listening to the words that they say. People show you who they are every single day, but you want to tell yourself something different. Crazy work. Performing, like I said, looks like over nurturing to earn proximity, to get closer. It also looks like you perform calmness, but your spirit is in chaos. You want to look like the bigger person. None of these things, and I do mean none of these things, thank you, my love, for these gifts, none of them about being feminine. It's about what you're doing in that space. You're performing what patriarchy has approved of in order for you to feel valuable in a system that literally is fundamentally exploitive. It's exploitive. And the whole goal is to exploit you, and you fall into the gap by performing instead of standing in the fullness of who you are. That's crazy work. That's crazy work to sit around here and wear that type of mask. In that type of space, you may be very beautiful, but you're boundaryless. So you're drained. This is how we see the beautiful woman get drained and devalued by someone. And you're like, how could she let this happen? She's so beautiful. She's so this. You value her beauty currency more than she does. See, this is what people do. You'll look at somebody who has a whole lot of money and be like, oh my God, why would you do that? You got all this money. You value the currency of money more than they do. You're looking at this woman like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. How she allow herself? You value her currency of beauty more than she does. And you're thinking in your mind, if you had that beauty currency, this is what you would do. If you had this money, this is what you would do. But you doing all this talking and you arguing outside the club because you can't get in. You don't really even know what's going on over there. What that should teach you and show you is beauty isn't everything. Money isn't everything. And it's not the end all be all that's going to solve all of your problems. So yeah, she's a beautiful woman, but she ain't got no boundaries. Yeah, she's supportive of everybody else, but she's self-silenced. And she suffers in silence. Okay? Yeah, she comes across like she's magnetic, but she's continuously manipulated. Like, you're not being feminine. You're being marketed to yourself. How y'all letting people tell y'all how to be you? See, this is what I don't understand when y'all get on these apps asking people, how do I operate more in my feminine? Sweetheart, you are feminine by design. You want to know how to operate. You want to know how to be more feminine. You want to know how to be more like yourself. Come home. Come home to yourself. Come home to yourself and leave all the other spaces where you're not being appreciated and valued. Come home to yourself first. That is what a lot of women are missing. Okay? So let's talk about why this performative femininity, that's a pimp's game, why it's harmful to you spiritually and psychologically. Okay? Number one, because anything that you perform, right? Anything you perform, you must continue to maintain. And we're not really, because we're creatures of habit, we're not really good at wearing a mask. Eventually, the mask is going to fall off. We're going to snatch it off because we can't breathe. Something is going to happen in that space. When you perform, you have to maintain. And the moment that you stop performing, you become disposable. This is why they get rid of you. This is why they get rid of you at that 9 to 5. This is why men get rid of you right here. Why people get rid of you right here. Because you came into this space acting one way. And last night we talked about this in my Muse Activator program. We talked about an address being a shapeshifter. A lot of women are shapeshifters. You change your form in the form when men come around. You change your form when you're doing business. You change your form in the corporate system. You change your form when you're dealing with your mama. You change your form. You alter who you are. You alter who you are. And then people get rid of you because they can't trust you. It's not that they don't appreciate all the things you did for them. It's not that. It's the fact that you did all of those things in hopes of trying to control a scenario. Because we as women don't just, oh, I just was doing that out of kindness of my heart. If you were doing it from the kindness of your heart, you would not have an attachment to it. You would not be able to list the things off that you did for the person as soon as they pissed you off if you were truly doing it from your heart space. Because when you do something from your heart space, that means that you're being a cheerful giver. When it talks about being a cheerful giver, it's speaking about it from all aspects. You be a cheerful giver of your time, of your energy, of your attention, of your money, of your effort. You are to be cheerful. If you can't be cheerful in your giving, you should not give. Because truthfully, a cheerful giver understands that whatever is better to give than to receive, because whatever a man sows, ye shall reap. See, when you understand spiritual law, you only give cheerfully. Because when you give from a space like, oh, I'm giving from like, this is my last, this is my, and this is what a lot of people do, especially women. I'm giving you my last $200 because I'm trying to show you how much I support you and how much I value you and how much I got your back. Why would you give your last? Why would you give your last? If this is not your child, why are you giving your last? Because the minute that you give your last and then you go to that person and you need something from them and they're not willing to make as equally of a sacrifice that you think that they should be making for you, you're going to be upset. And you're going to come back to the memory of how you sacrificed your last $200 to give to them. This is why you don't do that. This is why you don't do that. This is why men slap y'all in the face with the statement of saying, I didn't ask you to do that. Because they didn't ask you to do that. Did they take it? Yes. But like I said, don't you take them samples at Costco when they giving them out for free? Did you buy the chicken taquitos that they was giving out the samples for? No. But you walked around and ate all the samples, huh? You did that. People are going to always take what is offered. The issue at hand is that you are offering with a true intention of wanting to receive instead of actually giving and being detached from what you're giving. That's why you never receive anything back, because you're not detached. That's why if you can't give cheerfully, baby, you don't give. Hello? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Because let me tell you something, and this is exactly what I'm saying. All this performing, I'm giving, and when you can give no more. When you have surpassed your threshold as a giver, okay? And then you are expecting this person to give back to you, and you can't give to them, and they don't give to you. Then they throw you away because you're no longer useful, because you've built the relationship on doing for them, on performing for them, on being this person for them. And now you're no longer that, so they don't see the value, because they only saw the value in you doing and not being. Went into that scenario being masculine. Performance and doing all this outward shimmy yah is not a part of our feminine design. That's not what we do. Men tend to do a lot of performing to try to impress us. We don't perform. We're supposed to be able to decipher the performer. We're supposed to be able to discern a person that is a performer versus a person who's coming into my life to actually support me. Y'all are not paying attention. You're paying attention to the wrong thing, trying to appear to be a good person. Y'all got to stop doing that. I want to be seen as a good girlfriend. That's coming from a deep wound. Do you understand that? Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Wanting to be a woman who seen as a good woman. Do you know that that's an act? Wanting to be seen as I'm a good Christian woman. That'd be the first thing come out of your mouth. I'm a good woman. And it be lies. That's the crazy part. Because you're not good to yourself. A man is not going to say to you, you're not being good to yourself, you're not a good woman. He's gonna let you sit there and keep kind of convince yourself that you're a good woman. If you are or you ain't, he's gonna let you just keep doing that. Nobody's gonna tell you that. Okay, hi Lovey. Nobody's gonna tell you that. So the thing about it is, it's not about you being a good woman. And I tell women this all the time. I'm not a good woman. I tell a man that I'm not a good woman, babe. I am a just woman. I'm not even a fair woman. See, I'm not even a fair woman. I'm a just woman. And what that means is I believe in justice. Most importantly, I believe in spiritual justice. So the thing is this, I believe you obtain and you get what you earn. You receive exactly what it is that you have sown. That is what I believe. So I'm not here to convince anyone that, oh, I'm a good woman, I'm this, I'm just. So when you hear a person speak about me and they say, oh my goodness, she's so sweet, she's so kind, she's so loving, and then you hear the other person say she is so cutthroat, don't play with her because she is ... you need to believe both of them. You need to believe both of them because both people are correct and they have gotten from me what is just for them. You understand? So the thing is, stop trying to portray yourself as this good person, this good woman, this all of that is fake. All of that is a program. All of that is coming from your childhood of, leaving your house and not embarrassing your home and not embarrassing your family and trying to conceal things. Baby, forget all that. Step into the fullness of who you are and stop caring about people seeing you as a good person. And that is when you will start being good to yourself. See, when you start being good to yourself, that's what matters. Worrying about if other people see you as a good person, that's irrelevant because what other people think about you is none of your business. And the truth of the matter is them people don't know you. So you further need to be like it's none of your business. They don't know you. They don't know your innermost. So you being concerned about them, their thoughts about you is insane. The only one you need to be concerned with in thoughts about you is yourself and the one that created you. Period. Everything else is going to correct itself and fall in line with itself. Thank you, Lovey. I was having a conversation in my session last night with the Muse Activator, and we were talking about, worrying about other people and supporting you and different things like that. Listen, if you are in business, thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. If you are in business, you don't need to be concerned with who is supporting you, who's not supporting you. You need to be focused on the people who are supporting you. Y'all are so concerned. I've never seen... Why are you so concerned about your haters instead of worrying about the people who love you and who show you love? Why are you so concerned about the people who don't clap for you when there are thousands of people clapping for you? See, you focus on the wrong thing. You focus on the wrong thing. And this is why I tell women, if you want to thrive in this society, you're going to need 3 things. Number 1, you're going to need to understand spiritual law. For me, that looks like scripture. Everything I teach you is rooted in scripture, backed up by science and backed up by psychology. All of it. You can go look it up for yourself. I want you to. I'm a fan of you doing your own research. This is how a lot of people end up coming to work with me, because they end up going looking these things up for themselves, and they know and they see, man, she was telling the truth. Yeah, I'm not playing. I am not playing. You are harming yourself with this performing femininity because you're playing a pimp's game. How you playing a pimp game and you're not even a pimp, which is why you continue to get played. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, these comments, and these follows. What are we doing? Y'all are out here trying to act like Delilah, and that ain't even really your stilo. Do you understand that women who operate from the spirit of Delilah have to turn a part of themselves off? Do you understand that she had to be completely detached from Samson in order to be able to fully manipulate him? Do you know what that means, to turn a piece of yourself off? That's a form of shape-shifting. That's seduction for survival. That's very much so little faith. Because why do you need to seduce a man to pay your bills, but you be crying up and down talking about how good God is? You be crying up and down talking about how God supplies all of your needs according to his riches and glory. Which one is it? Do you need to seduce to survive? Or do you just need to ask the one that created you? Which one is it? Because it can't be both. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. So if you're seeking your solution to being another human being, then there is no need for you to submit to the one that created you. It makes no sense. And you really have to pay attention to that. Let's get into what performative femininity teaches you. Okay? It teaches you to fake safety to attract provision. It teaches you to use your looks instead of your truth. It teaches you to seduce instead of truly speak. But here's what's really happening on the inside of you that women really don't realize. You're being trained to betray yourself, and you're wondering why people betray you. I always say all the time, a woman who betrays herself has no problem betraying you, because betrayal is familiar. Betrayal is familiar to her. A woman who violates herself has no problem violating you. That's easy work. Violating you is light work. See, if she violates herself, the thing that you need to be asking yourself is, when is your turn coming up? Because it's coming. It's coming. It's the equivalent to you spending time with a woman who is talking about everyone who comes into her presence. Do you not believe that there's going to come a time when she's going to talk about you? Wait your turn. See, a lot of women believe that they are exempt from experiences, which is why you also continue to get played in these performative femininity roles, because you think you're so much better than the woman that came before you. So you got to prove a point, and you got to talk crazy and talk about he ain't finna do me like he doing you and all this. And baby, hold tight. Hold tight, sweetheart. Because if he just jumped into the game with you and he just jumped out of the game with her, do you think the game ends? New player activated. In the world of video games, y'all don't see how this go? When a new player enters into the game don't change, baby. The game don't change, baby. The players change. But you don't understand that, yet you want to play a pimp's game, such as performative femininity. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. It's not making no sense. It's not making no sense. I say it all the time, but they talking about them, they're going to talk about you. Absolutely. I don't know why we think we exempt. You literally are being trained to betray yourself. And here's the thing. All the things I was saying about faking safety to attract provision and using your looks instead of your truth and seducing to instead of fully speaking, you're being trained to betray yourself for the following things. This is what women are betraying themselves for. They're betraying themselves for attention. They're betraying themselves for affection. And they're betraying themselves for access. Which is crazy. You know why it's crazy? Because that's what the masculine does. They want your attention. That's why they stop you in the street. They want your affection. They need your affection. They want access to you. And here you are, trying to play a pimp's game by doing masculine things, doing things to obtain masculine currency. Because masculine men want your attention, they want your affection, they want access to you. But here you are performing for these things, and when they realize what it is that you're doing, then they show you how much they don't want you. Because you were out of your energy when you were even trying to obtain that. By performing. Everything that you attract under false pretenses, you will not be able to keep. Okay? You won't be able to keep it. And energetics don't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers can be skewed, data can be skewed, and numbers can be crunched. But here's the thing that you have to understand. Your energy, though, can't be destroyed. Your energy is always going to tell the truth on you. It always is going to tell the truth on you. I was having a conversation with a young lady, and she was talking about how badly she wanted this man, right? And she was explaining to me their past, and it just sounded like a very much so fairy tale. So I'm just kind of listening to everything that she's saying, and she's like, and I want this, and I don't want him to do this, and what if he starts doing this, and da 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 da. I said, hold on, baby, hold on. You just told me you love this individual, right? Yes. Love is freedom. It's not control. Well, I'm not trying to control it. You are trying to control it. See, when you tell or try to prevent or try to get ahead of and put something there in regard to a man, when you don't set your standards in the very beginning, he's going to do the very thing that you tell him not to do. I don't want you following her. I don't want you doing this. Now he got to type her full name in there in the search bar. See, when you are telling a man to stop following a woman, to stop communicating with a woman. So let's say he stops following her. Do you know what you just did? I'm going to put you on game. You told him to stop following you. So he may have unfollowed her, but now you've activated his stress hormone, which is vasopressin. Well, which is the bonding hormone. Well, how did I activate his bonding towards her? Because what he has to do now is he ain't following her no more. He just gonna go either create a whole nother page, which that takes energy and that takes effort, or he's simply going to log in and type her name into the screen every time he goes on and he wants to go and look at her, which is also stress and vasopressin, which makes him want her even more. Y'all missing it. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Y'all are missing it. Love is not control. And the minute you try to control the masculine, it's almost like he's going to do everything to wiggle out of that space, which is further going to push him in the direction exactly where you were stating that you did not want him to go into. And you think you're doing something. I just told him how I feel. You just made yourself look a fool. You just showed how insecure you are. You just showed that you don't believe that love is a choice. And if a person is not choosing every single day to get up and love you, they have that right to not choose to love you. But what are you going to do about it? You're going to sit there, you're going to try to control the experience by saying, don't do this, don't do that. See, it's easier for you to try to tell somebody what to do instead of leaving. We don't want to do that. I just want to control the experience. I just want to get ahead of it. I just want to do this. And what you're trying to do, I get it. You're trying to prevent yourself from being hurt. But here's the thing. If you're trying to be proactive so you don't get hurt in this experience, I have to ask you a question. Why would you be willing to participate in an experience where you feel that there's a strong chance that you're going to be hurt? Why would you continue to participate in an experience like that? It does not make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And women do this to themselves all the time, trying to control the narrative. You can't do that. You cannot control another person. This is why self-control is a fruit of the spirit, not the control of other people. You can't control people. You can't control nothing but yourself. Thank you, my love, for these likes. Okay? So, like I said, when you are doing all of these things, overly nurturing, faking, safety to attract provision, all these things, you're being trained to betray yourself for attention, affection, and access. And your nervous system literally, how can I say this? Your nervous system literally starts to believe that peace must be earned through performance. Let me just shut up and sit here and be quiet because I just don't want him to get frustrated and and I'll be able to keep my peace. Let me not say anything here and do this because I'll just be able to, keep my peace. Thank you, lovey. No. When you perform femininity, you teach your body that love is conditional. And love with you should never be conditional. Yes, people operate definitely according to conditions when it comes down to love. But the love that you have for yourself should be unconditional. And when you unconditionally love yourself, you don't allow people to mistreat you. You don't allow people to dishonor you. You don't stay in spaces like that. That's not what you do. But see, when you performing femininity, you feel like that's what you have to do to keep him paying your bills, huh? Got to keep playing that role so you can pay them bills. It's so crazy to me how you let people trick you into using programming to thinking that you're manipulating men who have resources and manipulating men who have money. Baby, they've been playing this game. You just got here. See, You're trying to play a pimp's game. Performative femininity is a pimp's game. And you're not a pimp at core. You're not. Because you have to turn off aspects of yourself to be able to pimp something and somebody. So you're attracting this under false pretenses, which means that you're not going to be able to keep it. But let's talk about the cost of you staying in the space of that energy, being misaligned like that. Okay? So let's be clear about what it costs for you to perform this femininity. All right? Number one, your money. Your money becomes extremely unstable because you're attracting through a false frequency. I'm going to say it again. Your money becomes unstable because you are attracting through a false frequency. It's the equivalent of you applying for a vice president job at an extremely Fortune 500 company, right? And you don't qualify for the job, but somehow you got the job. And you're sitting up there and you're making $300,000 and you're trying to figure out how in the world did this even happen, right? And then you end up losing said job. Why? Because you attracted under a false frequency. You pretended as if you knew what you were doing. You pretended as if you had the skill set. You pretended as if you had all these things. And when it was time to show up for the job, it was proven that you could not do the job. Therefore, you what? Lost the money. You lost the money. When you perform, you can't keep that up. This is why women, as soon as women start playing a game with men, oh, I'm just using him to get his money. And as soon as you make you mad, you start revealing the truth about who you are. The mask falls off. The minute he's not doing what you want him to do, the mask falls off. Okay? So let's talk about the cost of being misaligned in that energy of performance when it comes down to your relationships. Okay? When you perform in your relationships become, how can I say this? Your relationships become unfulfilling, or they are unfulfilling because you're connecting through a mask and not through mutual, I can't even talk, mutual values, mutual goals, in general, collectiveness. See, you're not coming from that energy. You're coming from the energy of a mask. So your relationships are not going to be fulfilling because you're being fake. You're not being truthful. You're not being honest about who you are. So let's talk about what this looks like when it comes down to your time and your energy continuing to perform. Your time and energy are drained by constant emotional labor because you're being fake. You're performing. Code switching, people pleasing, seeking validation. All of those things are forms of performing. This is why, and I'm going to tell you something, with all of this and all this performance, this is why you attract emotionally unavailable men while calling it polarity. This is why, as a business owner, you price really, really low because you believe in being likable. And you believe that that's more important than being respected. See, a lot of y'all shortchange yourself in business because you want to be liked instead of being respected. I don't care if you like me. That's on everything. And if this is your first time following, like seeing me, hear me, my community will tell, I don't care about you liking me. I care about being respected. And I care about honoring what the Most High told me to do with my calling and showing up. Whether you like me or not is none of my business. I could care less, honestly. It's not going to stop me from sleeping or eating or doing anything prominent in my life. Okay? But a lot of women struggle in that space and speaking to their price point because they want people to relate to them. And I don't care about being relatable. I am who I am. I am who I am. I own all aspects of my femininity, the light side and the dark side. Depending on how you play, depends on what side of the energy that you land on. You either gonna get this dark feminine or you're gonna get this light feminine. But both of them are always active. Always active. Okay? This is also why a lot of women cannot rest because their entire brand is built on being digestible. People liking them, people doing this. Femininity doesn't care about being liked. This is why I'm telling y'all. This is why when you see scenarios with men and they're dealing with one woman and this woman is supposed to be a good woman. She does everything right. She does everything she's supposed to do. She does this, she does that, she does. And then he's dealing with another woman who is completely opposite. Looks different, acts different, wild, whatever the case may be. You know why? She don't care. She don't care about what he thinks about her. She's in on this ride, and she is the priority in this scenario to herself. She doesn't make him priority. And because she won't make him priority, it almost drives him crazy. So he like, dang, I need more of that. She's fun. She's this. You wow. And she ain't all up on me. She ain't trying to do that. She is doing her own thing. She's in her feminine, whether it's light or dark. While you sitting around trying to be a good girl and trying to do this and be a good woman and do this and do that, you are harming yourself. The scripture doesn't even tell you to do that. There's nowhere in scripture that tells you to allow yourself to be a doormat. I don't know why y'all let people who have chopped up and screwed up and stepped on scripture to teach you that you're supposed to be a doormat. That is not the case. That is not femininity. The women in scripture were not doormats. Y'all better go read about JL, who was a throat cutter. Listen, y'all need to really understand what type of time it's on. It's a reason why Delilah was the one to be able to get Samson. You gotta think about it. These are women who were being sent, who were extremely beautiful, extremely captivating, all of these things, but also at the same time can your throat. And y'all out here trying to be nice. Nice to people who do not mean you even the smallest bit of well. Okay? All this stuff that's happening, this is not femininity. This is captivity. See, when you become a performer, you become a slave to the performance. You got to keep the show going. You got to keep the people going. All because you wanted to put this fake thing out here. Performative femininity. I want to be very clear on this, okay? Performative femininity is the prison that a lot of you have decorated with nothing but rose petals and rituals. But it's still a cell. It's still a cage. It's still a cage that you've locked yourself in. So let's talk about how this Pimp's game, also known as performative femininity, the energetics behind it, and what happens with you in your relationship with the masculine. Okay, performative femininity doesn't create polarity. And see, I try to tell women, and women that come to work with me, they grasp this. One thing for sure you're going to get from working with me is that you're going to understand spiritual law. And you need to understand spiritual law if you want to create a new reality. If you want to manifest a new reality, you need to understand spiritual law. More so, for me, that looks like scripture. Now, I've done a lot of research on a multitude of things. And I've looked up and compared a whole lot of things. But what I can tell you is that how I've been able to support my clients in making more money and attracting better partners and getting healthier, including myself. I used to be 100 pounds heavier, attract horrible partners, and I couldn't keep no money. Now I'm a multi-six-figure business owner, and I've supported my clients in being able to make more money and do all these things, all because I understand spiritual law. The scripture will tell you literally how to run business, will literally tell you how to multiply money, will literally tell you how to create the reality you want, will literally tell you how to attract. All these things literally derive that you are seeing, these different things that have spread out are rooted in scripture. All of them. So that's why it's very important for you to understand spiritual law. And one of the laws you need to grasp, which is also science, is the law of polarity, guys. See, if you know the law of polarity, you will always win with the masculine. When you understand it, you will always win in communication with the masculine. Because you don't understand it, it's why the masculine always gets ahead of you. Men are the masters of energy reading. Hands down. Hands down. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Hands down. They are the masters of energy reading. You will never be able to slip one on them. The thing with them is that a lot of them not going to say nothing, but they see you. But we are the masters of intuition. That is what we are the masters of. And when you know how to tap into the fullness of your intuition, you can always control the energy. And if you can control the energy here, you will impact the energy around you. For example, if a person comes to you and they are going off. They screaming, they yelling, they doing this, they doing that. I'm about to show you the law of polarity in action. They're going off, they're doing this, they're doing that, right? And while they're going off, let's say they're going off on me. They're just going off and going off and going off, and I'm just sitting there, right? And when they get done, I'm just sitting there. I don't respond. I don't show emotion. I don't show anything. I just look. How do you think that person is going to feel? And how do you think the energy that surrounds me and that person, whether it's other people, how do you think that scenario is going to be observed? You're going to see a person trying to transfer their anger energy into me, because energy can't be destroyed, it can only be transferred. So you're trying to get me to engage in a power struggle energetically by arguing with you. I would much rather sit in calm energy, which is the opposite of chaos, because you would have no choice but to come down or walk away. Because like it tells you in scripture, a soft answer turns away wrath. See, that's the law of polarity right there in action. You feel like a psychopath when you are arguing with someone who won't argue back. Hello. You feel all kind of off and crazy, like when you trying to pick, and they won't give you nothing. See, when they give you nothing, that is the polarity. The calm versus the chaos. North versus south. East versus west. Good versus evil. This is polarity. Feminine versus masculine. If someone is trying to argue with me, rah, 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 that's masculine energy. See, and this is how this happens in a lot of domestic disputes that I've seen, right? I am 5'3.5", okay? If a man who is 6'5" is out and something happens and he starts to argue with me, I am not going to argue with him, because I'm not going to meet the rah, rah, rah of the masculine, because the masculine is loud. I'm not going to be rah, rah, rah. I'm going to be in my feminine, which is going to lean back. Because if I join you in rah, 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 we're now having a power exchange of energy. Who has the stronger energy? And when you see, and here's the thing about women that we have to understand. It is not a coincidence that men are given the power to beat and women are given the power to break with the mouth, with the tongue. There's not a man who can out-argue, who can outwit you. Thank you, my love. Hey, lovey. There's not a man who can out-argue, and you ain't going to find one. So what's going to happen is when that rah-rah, when you finally hit that point and you say something, the only thing he's going to know how to do is to try to shut the energy down. And it could be shut the energy down, or he could say something to you that hits that could shut the energy down. This is why it's very important for women to be in polarity, because, and here's why I say this too. If I'm 5'3.5" and a man is choosing to argue with me, I automatically know that this man is insane. And that's how y'all need to be thinking. I automatically know that this man is insane and he is outside of himself. Why do I say that? Because it is clear that you are bigger than me. It is clear that you possibly could be more powerful than me. But yet you still choose to come down on little old me. So because I automatically am assuming that you are insane for even doing this with me, now I have to go into defense mode of protecting myself. And defense mode ain't finna be like this. I ain't finna do no talking. Because if you continue to do this and you get close enough to me, I'm gonna have to do something else. I'm gonna have to reach in that purse. See, that's why I don't do this whole, oh, I'm gonna argue with you. And you gotta pay attention to energetics. When a person is trying to pull you into their chaos, you don't allow them to pull you into their chaos. You don't come out of your feminine. You stay in your feminine and you allow them to do what they're going to do. Because most people will end up self-correcting. You know what? I went too far with that scenario. I didn't handle that right. Da 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 da. I apologize, whatever. You don't need to get back up with them energetically. I'm trying to tell you something. You do not have to do that. You need to use the law of polarity and understanding. And if you understand the law of polarity, I'm telling you, your relationships will get better. With the masculine, you will be able to trust more of the masculine. Because you're not willing to alter who you are. Because that's the expectation in society, is to alter who you are, to try to rise up. You're not masculine. You're not a man. So learn the law of polarity so you can always, if you want to be in control for real. See, let's get into it. Women are talking about, you want to know how to be the neck while they be in the head. Stay in polarity. You'll always have control over the environment. I'm telling you, women who try to control the environment fail, but women who control themselves always control the environment. Do you understand that? You are the most powerful piece on the chessboard, not because you're the loudest, but because you know how to move. And you can move anywhere, in any way. So why would you move or mimic someone else in how they're moving by moving like them? You ain't doing nothing. Now it becomes a power struggle. Because now we're trying to see who the man is. Why are we doing that? And why are we not realizing that if a person is wanting to do that with you, that is damaging and dangerous? Because I'm a firm believer, and people can say how they feel. I really don't care. But a man, to me, who will go toe to toe and argue with you is the same man who will cuss you clean out. And the man who will cuss you clean out is the same one that will slap you in the face. And the one that will slap you in the face will break your jaw. See, all of that falls in line to me. The minute your voice gets raised to an octave, up, as a man, oh, red flag. Because what is it? Why do you have to raise your voice at a 5'3.5" woman? What would compel you? I'm very soft-spoken, velvety voice. The fact that you would have to go there lets me know that you would black my eye. And see, you need to catch this stuff in the beginning, but no, you want to argue and go back. You don't argue with crazy, baby. Didn't I just tell you that a man that will sit here and go toe to toe with you is a man that is literally insane? He is outside of himself, because the masculine understands that a lot of times the feminine is chaotic, which is why the feminine is nature. The seasons are different. They expect us to be emotional and to have these things. When you run across a man that's like that, you need to be concerned. Sweet. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. You need to be concerned. You don't need to go back and forth. See, y'all be trying to... Yours not bigger. Yours ain't bigger. And you don't have to prove anything. See, you going back and forth with them is you trying to perform that you ain't finna get one over on me. It's all performance. And then the performance stops when something physical happens. You get so riled up and that man goes boom and hit you in the face. Then the performance falls off and your real self shows up. Why would you hit me? I'm a woman. I'm this. Keep all of that in mind. These people are insane. Why are you arguing? And then you put people in certain scenarios where it's damaging and dangerous. I will never forget that video of the young lady. See, and I knew this man was insane when I heard him make this one statement. When I saw him arguing with her, but I really knew he was insane when he made this one statement. It was the video that happened a couple of years ago where the young lady the mother was in the store with her son. Son had to be 17, somewhere between 14 and 17. And she was in there arguing with a man. I don't know what they was arguing about. But that man, they was going back and forth. And she kept saying something. He said, you need to shut up and stop talking. When he said that, I said, oh, this is about to go bad. I said, this is about to go bad. This man is insane. She started talking. You need to shut. He started. I said, oh, this is about to go so bad. If you say one more thing, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to knock you. She said one more thing, and he laid her out. And her son came and pow, did that, got the man. Now, the son is not wrong, in my opinion, for defending his mother, right? What is wrong is the position that that mother put her son in by going back and forth with somebody who is clearly insane, who is clearly not right in the mind, who is clearly not together. Why are you doing that? What point are you trying to prove? And see, a lot of times when you are doing this, you're trying to, nobody gonna shut me up. See, that's a childhood wound. That's a childhood wound of you growing up in your house and not being able to express yourself, and nobody's ever gonna get one over on me again, and nobody gonna tell me, and you gonna get the last word. You gonna hurt yourself. You gonna hurt yourself, and you gonna get somebody else hurt in the process, all because you trying to perform. You're gonna hurt yourself and hurt somebody else. So when I'm telling you to thrive in this earth and on this world, you need to understand spiritual law. When I'm telling you, you need to understand the science of yourself, so you understand your science of your feminine energy, so you understand the masculine energy, so when you are not in the presence of masculine energy and you see it going psycho, you know what to do because you understand the science of your energy. And also understanding and studying the psychology of your lineage so that you don't repeat those patterns. If you want to thrive as a woman, you need them hot three. You need them hot three. Because this world is insane. And you need to know how to manage and, like she said, govern yourself. A lot of you don't know how to govern yourself, and that's the problem, which is why your government treats you the way they treat you. Because they know you don't know how to govern yourself. They know you can't, you're easily emotionally triggered. They know this. Someone said this just happened last month. A young lady was unalived during a Facebook altercation, Lord God. And he warned her to stop talking. He grabbed her like, let me tell y'all something. I keep trying to tell y'all. It's important to understand the science of yourself. If you don't understand the science of your feminine energy, you will never understand the masculine. And you will never understand the masculine ego. And you will never understand that your tongue is always going to be sharper than theirs. And they are always, for the most part, going to be stronger than you. See, when you're dealing with somebody who is insane, you get out of the way. This is not a pissing contest. You put your life in danger. You put people you love, their life in danger. You cannot do that. You should not do that. Let's talk about it again. Like I said, performative femininity does not create polarity. It creates imbalance. It's imbalance. So if you're performing something, and I'm trying to tell you this so you can really grasp the understanding. When that man was saying, stop talking to me, whatever the case may be, and she steady kept rising up, the imbalance comes in because how is so much rah masculine energy coming from such a small frame? That's an imbalance. So I'm thinking in my mind, I can't knock her out like I would a dude, because a man would never talk to me like this, but I've got to shut her up. That is the thought process. I'm trying to tell you so you really can grasp this understanding. Y'all are not understanding that you're not dealing with sane people, and you are trying to go head up with them, and this is not what you need to be doing. It's an imbalance, and it literally can cause you problems. This is how and what happens in your relationship with the masculine when you're performing. When you're performing, it creates imbalance. What type of imbalance? Instead of the masculine energy feeling magnetized to you, it feels manipulated by you. This is why you should not play these games with them. This is why you should not play these games with them. See, people are coming on these apps teaching you how to play mental games that have spiritual consequences. I'm trying to tell you something. You can't be out here playing mind games when you don't understand the spiritual consequences that come behind that. And I'm not even kidding around. I'm not even playing with you. Y'all playing too much. Y'all playing too much. And I'm not like, you playing too much with your own life. That's the scary part. When a man is coming to you, right? He is magnetized by whatever it is that you're presenting, whatever message that you're sending, whatever your signal is. He's magnetized by what he sees, what he's experiencing, and all these things. And for that man to figure out that all that magnetism was actually manipulation, you do understand that witchcraft is manipulation of the mind, right? For all of you that say that you are believers, but you are out here playing these type of mental games without understanding the spiritual consequences, I need you to understand that witchcraft is nothing but the manipulation of the mind. It's the manipulation of the mental energy. It's being able to get you to believe X, Y, Z. That is manipulation. Society plays witchcraft and sorcery games on you all the time through media, through programming, through all of these things. And when you perform, you participate in the manipulation. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. You participate in the manipulation. And when you participate in manipulation, you get exploited. You get exploited. You cannot do that. Y'all got these folks feeling like they're magnetized to you, and once they find out you manipulate them, oh God, you're gonna find out who you're really dealing with. Very dangerous games, y'all. Stop doing it. Stop doing it, especially now. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Because listen to me. Like I said, men are the masters of energy reading. And a lot of women, because they have not worked on themselves and they're not doing their work, y'all going to find yourselves in positions where you have to be submitted to men that you don't like. And eventually, they're going to find out you don't like them. And how do you think they're going to respond to having someone under their covering that doesn't really like them, that doesn't really want them, that doesn't really appreciate them, in an economy where things are stressed, things are tight, things are this, things are that? I'm telling you right now, DV gonna go up. I'm telling you, DV gonna go up. Y'all cannot play with these folks. These folks on their last leg. See, this is why it's very important. If you're gonna be out here dating, you need to be discerning. I watched a TikTok earlier of a young lady, and she was saying how, and she was showing on video how she invited this man to her home that she met off one of these apps. And it said that the time I almost got unalived by this guy I met on such and such. And she got online and she told her story, and she basically said that she had just got out of a scenario with the man and another man, and she was bored. See, let me tell y'all something. For a lot of y'all, Smex is a boredom activity because you ain't got nothing to do, because you ain't focused on yourself. You ain't focused on what you need to be focused on, so you done got bored and almost about to get unalived. See? But anyway, say she got bored. So she got on the app. She met this guy. They hung out. And she decided that, yeah, he could come over. So as he's going in to the house, she's showing me on the camera, right? She going in, and as she get in, I think she did something, and he saw something in her house, and he just started cursing. He started cursing in the air, cursing at the ceiling, cursing at this and cursing at that. And then she started thinking, oh my God, maybe his mind ain't right. He need to calm down, whatever. So she's steadily trying to get him to calm down, and then she touches him. And when she touches him, he says, something, I'll unalive you, and called out her name and yada, yada, yada. Right? So she was like, I think you should leave, blah, 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 blah. Some kind of way she called one of her family members, and one of her family members called the police. The police came over there and was able to get him out. Do you know that when she went to go retrieve his bag, he had a bag full of Magnum condoms and a pistol in there? He was planning to pune her. He was going to lay her down and then pune her. But see, this is when I say that you have to invite demonic activity into your space and you have to invite demons into your space. That's what I'm talking about. That's one aspect of what I'm talking about. One aspect of what I'm talking about right there. When they say an idle mind is the devil's playground, how funny is that in this scenario? It's not funny at all, actually. You allowed yourself to get so bored to where you like, okay, let me invite a stranger into my house, a stranger that starts talking to the sky and then talking about how they're going to unalive you. Oh, I'm just bored. I just need an itch to be scratched. Child, it might be your last itch. It might be your last itch. We are not thinking. We are not discerning. And then these people are showing you who they are. Let's talk about the rest of the imbalance. When you perform femininity, the men that you deal with, or the masculine energy that you deal with, they don't feel safe leading you. Why is that? Because you're not rooted, you're rehearsing. They don't know who they lead. They don't know who they're dealing with, so they opt out of the experience and they allow you to do whatever it is you want to do until they get tired of that or find somebody else new. See, when you're not rooted, you're rehearsing, you can't be trusted because we don't know which side is who. When you perform, you don't invite protection, you trigger projection. When you perform femininity, you do not invite protection. Little miss, I don't know why nobody wants to protect me. I just want a man to protect and provide. Absolutely not. While you are here performing femininity, you're not going to attract protection. You're going to attract projection. You're going to attract and meet yourself. You always meet yourself. That's you in the mirror. Nobody else. And this is what happens to you energetically. You become over available. And who appreciates over availability? Anybody? No. No. I'm always there whenever you call me. Why? Are you the Messiah? Are you Jesus? Are you God? Why are you always on somebody else's time? I'm so confused. The Most High is not even on our time. The Most High shows up on time. Why are you always waiting on somebody else's time? The Most High shows up on time. Why are you always waiting on somebody else's time? What sense does that make? For you to always be on somebody else's time. What else happens when you're performing femininity energetically? Emotionally, you're chaotic underneath the surface. Yeah, you look cool. You look like everything's straight. But the reality is you're cracking underneath the seams. You're cracking underneath the surface. What else happens energetically when you get in this space? You become addicted to attention and allergic to accountability. That's why you blame everybody else for how you've been treated in your relationship experiences. Because how is it that you can blame a man that you've been with for 6 years about the way he treated you? Because how did he get 6 years out of you? If he treated you so bad, how he get a hot 6 out of you? 6? You didn't know he was treating you bad at 2? You couldn't see the signs at 1. You let him get past 4? All the way to 6, huh? But it's his fault. Okay, addicted to attention that you were getting, but allergic to the accountability, huh? Oh, I got your number. You're not inviting love, sweetheart. Okay? You're leaking lack and calling it charm. So instead of receiving in wholeness, you seduce through need. Ooh, little miss lack. Little miss go seduce a man to get some money because she doesn't realize that she is the bag. So she has to go lay on her back for one. She has to go lay on her back for a bag because she doesn't realize that she is the bag. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. Everywhere I go, I bring the value. When you have that mind frame, everywhere I go, I bring the value. You ain't got to position yourself to do nothing for no money. Ever. Doesn't make any sense. So, like I said, instead of receiving in wholeness, you seduce through need, and the masculine doesn't anchor you. It mirrors your instability. Ooh, but on ting. The masculine doesn't anchor you because you are overperforming and it created imbalance, so it mirrors your instability. Why is he so inconsistent with me? You are inconsistent when it comes down to your workout goals. You are inconsistent when it comes down to you eating properly like you said you would. You are inconsistent when it comes down to showing up for your business. You are inconsistent in general. So why are you mad that you are attracting inconsistency? You will always meet yourself. This will be on YouTube. You'll always meet yourself. Who you thought you was meeting? Somebody else? No, baby. That's you. It's you. Little Miss Inconsistent. I'm unattracted. I'm not attracted to inconsistent men. Inconsistent men are attracted to inconsistent women. Don't you get it? See? Inconsistent men are attracted to inconsistent women. Period. And I'm so serious. Hey, my love, I'm so for real. And this is what we need to pay attention to. So let's talk about, like I said, the masculine won't anchor you because it's mirroring your instability. Surprise. So let's talk about the spiritual violation or the spiritual law that you're actually violating, okay? And I'm coming specifically on 1 Corinthians 14 and 33, where it speaks about how the Most High is not a God of confusion, but one of peace, right? One of peace, okay? Performative femininity is confusion. Performative femininity is confusion. It's not of God, okay? It's dressed, how can I say this? It's confusion dressed in couture. It's cute, right? But it's not cute because it violates the law of truth and the law of order. The law of truth says that you cannot attract from a false identity. It's in Proverbs. And expect a real outcome. So a man thinking in his heart, so is he. The truth about who you are is always going to come up. The law of order basically lets you know that anything out of divine alignment will eventually collapse. And the thing about it is, when you violate these laws, you don't just delay money or delay love. You invite instability into your space, distortion into your space, and soul fatigue. A lot of y'all are exhausted because your soul is fatigued. It ain't even got nothing to do with what you're doing. Your mindset is tired. Your heart set is tired. Your willpower has no strength to go on. That is what makes up your soul. Mindset, heart set, willpower. Hold your question for me, love. I'm going to answer it in just a second. Mindset, heart set, willpower. Femininity without truth is not divine. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not. It's not divine. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. It's literally deception with lipstick on. And you can put lipstick on a pig. It's still not going to be cute. You could put a ring in a pig's nose. It's still not going to, come on now. What you need is not to be more aesthetic. What you need is architecture, a structure. See, in order for you to have healthy relationship with the masculine energy, and I'm not talking about the man, let's separate masculine energy from the man for a second. In order to have a healthy relationship with the masculine, which means you need to have a relationship with structure, you need to have a relationship with discipline, you need to have a relationship with order, you need to have a relationship that has direction. When you improve your relationship with the masculine, you will have better relationships with men. Because you will be able to recognize the masculine from the feminine in all men. And a lot of you miss that. Oh, I just want a masculine man. Can't do that when you are a masculine, sweetheart. Law of polarity. Two men to get together gonna start jacking. Fighting. That's what's gonna happen. When two men get together and disrespect is involved. And this is what women don't understand. See, men understand this concept. Women do not understand respect. A lot of you do not understand respect. I don't care how much you swear up and down, you don't understand respect. Because if you did, you would not play the psychological and emotional and mental games that you try to play with people. Because I'm going to tell you the difference between men and women and why men understand respect, period. And why men don't go around here disrespecting each other because they know somebody going to lose their life for playing. You understand? See, two men ain't finna just sit around and be disrespecting somebody. Somebody gonna have to hit the ground. They know that. So they don't go around disrespecting other men. They don't go around disrespecting each other because they know once that happens and stuff get active, somebody's life finna be on the line. Women don't understand that because there are not a lot of consequences. You're able to go around and disrespect people and nobody slapping you in the face or nobody putting you down. So you feel like it's okay for you to walk around and disrespect and dishonor people. That's why I say a lot of times women don't understand the concept really of respect. Because if you did, you would not walk around here playing these type of games with people. Playing these mental, psychological games that have spiritual consequences. And physical consequences when you're dealing with men who literally are not grounded in their masculinity. See, a masculine man is not going to argue with you and do all this back and forth. And he ain't even finna let you get that far. He finna cut you loose. It's a waste of time. You're too much of a liability. Too much of a liability. But I'm telling you, when you improve your relationship in your own life with the masculine energy within yourself, left brain energy, order, structure, discipline, direction. When you get that together, you will have much more pleasant experiences with masculine men because you will recognize that. You will be able to recognize them. A lot of you can't recognize them, which is why you consistently are in scenarios that drain you and devalue you. You know why the scripture says, see, and this is the part people don't understand. You know why the scripture says it's not safe basically for you to be unequally yoked? You shouldn't do that. Because if you're unequally yoked in an experience, you're going to be drained. And the Most High didn't send you here to be drained. But no, you want to be with this person so bad. But no, you want to be connected to this experience so bad. But no, this is the only thing you're going to do. And it is draining you. And it is confusing you. And all of these things literally say it's not of God for you to be drained or confused. But yet, you swear up and down you didn't see a sign that you're supposed to be with this person. Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off with that. Order, discipline, structure, direction. Don't piss me off with that. You don't need aesthetic, you need architecture. You don't need to be more likable, you need to be aligned. You need to be aligned in all areas. You need to be aligned spiritually. I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you how to keep yourself protected because y'all, it's a lot of stuff that's coming. And I'm meeting with the Sacred Feminine League tonight, so I'm going to talk to them a little bit more about it. They were asking me about some different investments and different things that I'm doing. I was dropping them in the chat before I got on here. But let me tell y'all something. The world is going to look very different, specifically by 2027. 2026, a bunch of different things are about to come into play. 2025 is on its own brand for the way things are playing out. All of this is on brand. But what I'm telling you is, if you go into 2026 and you do not have the proper alignment when it comes down to you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and socially, you're going to suffer. You are going to suffer. Doing things just to get money, that's going to get old. That's going to get tiring because you're going to realize no matter how hard you work, you never are going to be able to get ahead. So you have to up-level your skills. You have to activate your inner gifts according to Proverbs 8 and 12 because so they can make room for you, or you are going to struggle. And I'm being serious. Do y'all really believe that they not finna start holding you hostages in certain countries because you got too much debt and you ain't gonna be able to leave? Y'all keep thinking it's a game. Y'all gonna see next year how they tighten their surveillance up. Y'all gonna see next year how they start. Don't say that. You'll see. If you are not on the aligned path for you spiritually, I'm talking about aligned monetization, making money the way you're supposed to make money that doesn't drain you and exhaust you. Aligned strategic alignment when it comes down to romantic relationships. I'm talking about divine partners in purpose, in values, in building, in growth. I'm talking about strategic alignment when it comes down to friendships, so you have the right community. Everybody knows what their skill set is. If you don't have these things, you are going to be in trouble. Your lineage is going to be in trouble. If you have children, especially they are small, they not finna have no 9-to-5 job. What are they gonna do? Have you thought about that? Have you activated your gifts and the things to set you up so your children can take over, so they can work for you? No? Then you are setting them up for failure. And if you think that leaving them a life insurance policy is just gonna be it, what are you gonna do when the dollar crashes? And let's just say they get this money. What's the expansion plan once they get said money? And who's to say that these things are even going to be in place in that way for them to get that money? Which is why tomorrow I'm going live and I'm having a guest tomorrow specifically, and he's going to be talking about entrepreneurship for children and how mothers need to be in getting their kids ready. He has a Founders Academy. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and I'll bring him on around 11:30 Central Standard Time, because here's the thing. We got to wake up from all this performance. Performing at work, performing in your relationships, performing, across the board. It is not going to work. You need to be aligned. And this is why I created the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint. Okay? It's $200. You can get a recliner firm and Afterpay. This is for the woman who's ready to really heal her spirit, regulate her nervous system, and rebuild feminine magnetism without performing. Because I'm going to tell you something. You are in a space right now. You need to be able to attract like that. You need to be able to magnetize like that. And you can't do it if you're in a space, if you haven't risen above your core nature of manipulation. Women at core are manipulators at nature, at core. And if you don't believe me, think about Daddy's little girl having Daddy wrapped around her finger even when she's little. We're taught to manipulate. Just like men, when they're boys, they're exploiters at core. This is why it talks about in scripture how the heart is deceitful. None of you are good people. None of us are good people. Stop lying. See, the minute you stop lying to yourself is the minute you can stop lying to other people and actually get what you want out of this life. You can actually get what you want out of this life when you stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself about what it is that you want and what it is that you need. And that's what happens when you're performing. I got to act this way and code switch so I can keep this job. Why? Who told you that? The Most High tell you that? Oh, that's some crap that you heard from somebody else? Oh, okay, got it. Inside the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint, you get to deconstruct and refill your cup. It's going to help you clear out all the emotional confusion, because it's going to help you get rooted in real relationship with the one that created you. You'll learn wealth alchemy, how to reset your nervous system for income. Because let me tell you something. You're going to need to do that. You're going to need to do that. 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. You also, in this bundle, you're going to get love in the nervous system. It's going to help you heal that attachment style and that emotional energy around men. So little miss anxious attachment style, hyper independent style, all these different type of things. Let me tell you something. You can come out of all of that. I used to be very anxiously attached. Very. Very, very. Okay? Now I'm extremely secure attached. And I'm walking you through the process of how that happens. So if you're avoiding all of that, come see me in that space, okay? You also get the power of your feminine design in that bundle. You also get passively paid in that bundle, which teaches you how to align your money with your energy. And then you also get Intelligence to Income, which is the course that supported my client Rocky in going from $250 an hour to her making up to almost $15,000 in less than 30 days, because she was able to package her intelligence into a product and service that sells. Why a lot of you are sitting on gifts that you think are elementary because the society doesn't value them. But what you have to understand is that I was told by so many that writing would not make me any money. There's no real career in writing. There's no real career in doing this, and you're not really going to make money. You need to go into one of these sciences. I have built a multi six-figure business from writing literally what the Most High has told me to write, from breaking down concepts from a very difficult space into a very easy, digestible understanding so that people can have and apply to their life. And I've been able to build a multi six figure business from that. So stop allowing people to tell you things that they don't see the value in. When I'm telling you, you are sitting on these gifts. You are sitting on these things. Okay. Yes, does people pleasing fall under anxious attachment style? I wouldn't necessarily. Yes, in a sense, because the people pleasing comes from a place of how you're wanting people to feel about you, right? You're wanting them to feel pleased with you. You're wanting them to be happy, and it makes you feel nervous or anxious. The possibility of them feeling some kind of way about you if you say no or if you go against them. So most definitely it falls under that. There is an anxiousness to it, okay? So like I said, with that bundle, it's $200. You can get a recliner, affirm, and afterpay. If you are in business and you're not making 5 figures a month in your business, then you need to schedule an energy reset session. Those are $200 as well. You need that recliner, affirm, and afterpay. During that session, I'm going to expose what is the pattern that's blocking you from making the sales that you need to make in your business. And once we expose that pattern so that you can start making those sales in your business, you can be well on your way to getting focused to getting your new clients and getting your sales. Okay. So you don't need more confidence. I'm just being honest. You need calibration. You don't need more softness. You need structure. And the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint isn't another course. It literally is your return to divine credibility. Okay. So you have a choice. I'm just being honest. You can keep seducing through pain, or you can receive through peace. You can keep trying to play the pimp's game when you're not a pimp, or you can return to divine governance. Okay? If you're ready to stop leaking power, if you're ready to be loved well, paid well, and protected from just your truth, not necessarily performance, then click the link in the bio and grab the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint. Because truthfully, the Most High did not design you to perform. You wasn't sit here to be fake and to be phony. That's just not what it is. Okay? Stop selling your femininity by performing it and start stewarding your power, because that's what that is. It's power. And the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint is where you can begin. You need to be rooted, aligned, and focused. That's how you're going to get the revenue. That's how you're going to get the relationships you want. That's how you're going to get all those things, by becoming rooted and regulated and really returning to yourself. Okay? So click the link in the bio to get access to that. Drop your questions in the comments for me, what questions that you have, and I'll take those questions. I have a few more of those energetic reset sessions left. A lot of you have kind of grabbed those. So I'm really excited to be able to have those sessions with you. So click the link in the bio to get access to either one of those. I also have the I also have Monetize Like a Muse, which is extreme framework, where I'm showing you, and I actually have extended Monetize Like a Muse into a little bit more of a framework. And so that framework itself, if you're wanting to know how to get into the aligned monetization path that is for you, that particular program and that particular offer is $9.97. But you get a 90-minute session with me. You get 7 days of strong, and I do mean strong, coaching with me to make sure that your offer is where it needs to be, that people are actually going to buy in. Okay? So we're going to do that work, and then you also get all of my frameworks that supported me in creating a multi six-figure business. So how to get the money and all those things, and you have access to me. That's $9.97. You can get a recliner, affirm, and afterpay, and you also get a 30-day check-in. So you have those 7 days with me where we're working hard. We have that 90-minute session, and we have that 30-day check-in to review what's happening, to see what is working, what's not working, if we need to tweak something, and then we go back on our way to get into the money. Okay? Because here's the thing, you got to get money in this world. That's the reality of it. But the best way for you to do it is to go about it by going the aligned monetization path for you. Because if you do anything else that's really not in alignment with you, you're going to be drained, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to hate your life, you're going to hate the experience, and you're going to take it out on everyone else around you. And nobody deserves that, most importantly, not you. Okay? So click the link in the bio to get access to those things. I am about to start taking up more people into the Muse Activator. Let me tell y'all something. The women that's in the Muse Activator right now, baby, they tea. Okay? They are tea in there. When I say feminine powerhouses in there, VPs, amazing women who have written and continue to work with, who are Grammy Award winning artists. Let me tell y'all something. Powerhouses in there. Okay? It's not for play, but it's for women who are coming into the fullness of embodiment. And one of those amazing women last night was speaking about how, just in a few weeks of being in the Muse Activator, she feels like a completely different person because things have opened up for her. She's more creative, all of these different things. This is what happens when you step into the fullness and the embodiment of yourself. And I really can't wait for more things to happen for these amazing women, because these amazing women are experiencing true transformation. So when women ask me like, oh, what do you sell and what are your, I sell transformation. If you want your life change, I am that girl. If you want to lose weight, I used to be 100 pounds heavier. Let's get it. Highest amount of weight my clients has lost to this date, 70 pounds. Lowest, about 20 pounds. You want to make more money? Let's get it. Come on over here. Clients have gone from 5 figures to 6 figures, 6 figures to multi 6 figures, using the frameworks. They still use them to this day. One of my clients is almost at $1 million. She's still using it. She's still using my cycle syncing formula to this day. Okay? I have women who have come to me who are attracting better partners, attracting better community, all of these things. Okay? So if you're wanting any of those things, then we need to work on your energetics. And you can come see me. Get the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint, come into the Muse Activator, which I'm only going to have 2 more rounds of the Muse Activator before the year's out. So if you want to work with me, it's an 8-week program, then you better get in where you fit in. Okay? And I'm going to be talking more about the Muse Activator a little bit more this week, because I'm going to start bringing people back in again in August. I had a really strong wave of women that came in June, so I'm going to make sure I finish them out strong, and the next strong wave to come in, because these women are, and I'm talking about, is movers and shakers in there. It's women who are preparing to get Airbnbs in other countries. It's women who are out here, like one of my clients was talking about last night, how she's in charge of a $2 billion project she's working on. These ain't no, it's the real ones in there who are really doing the work. And if you want to be in community with these type of women, coming into the Muse Activator will support you in that. Now, the Muse Activator is an 8-week program, and it's $2,000. Yes, you can get it with Klarna Affirmative Afterpay. Yes, it is that active, and it is that powerful. Yes, the price point is going to go up. So if you want that, there's a link in the bio for you to be able to get more information about that as well. Okay? So drop your questions. Let me go through and see the ones that are here. Thank you for talking about lowering prices to please people and be relatable. You read me. Thanks. You're welcome. You can click the link in the bio. It's also the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint will help you with that. Or, truthfully, if pricing is your issue, then Monetize Like a Muse actually would really, really help you with that. The Magnetic Wealth Blueprint is a great start, but Monetize Like a Muse is where you have the $10,000 quiz that tells you what is the skill sets that you have that can position you to make anywhere between $10,000 to $100,000 in your business. And that's what is going to support you in doing so. Can you define return to self? To come home. To come home. To come home means to come home to the kingdom of heaven, to come home to the truth of who you are, to come home to the kingdom of heaven, which is located in your heart, according to Luke 17:21, is to come back home to your heart, to come back home to your truth, to come back home to your core, to come back home to how you operate authentically, who you were before you started wearing the mask, before people started telling you you need to dim down, before people started telling you you're doing too much. Who are you? So when I say returning back to self, you're returning back to your godlike nature, your godlike character in the space where you hold dominion. That is what I'm speaking about. Okay? Any other questions before I get out of here? Congratulations to somebody just got the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint. It just came across my screen. So congratulations to you. And I'll see, and for those who booked their energetic reset sessions, hey Lovey, I will see y'all soon because a lot of y'all booked your sessions last week. Last week, Lord, next week. So, congratulations to you. I cannot wait for those sessions to see what shifts we need to make and what we're going to make. So I'm really excited about that. But any questions before I get on down out of here? Because I'm going to give me some lunch before I meet with my clients tonight in the Sacred Feminine League. Oh, there's also the Sacred Feminine League. The Sacred Feminine League is a monthly membership. You can get it for $197 a month. You can cancel at any single time, whenever you feel like it. I'm not holding you hostage. So you can come into that community. It's an amazing community of women. In that community, what's different is that we meet twice live. So I'm meeting with them live tonight. So we meet twice a month. They get 2 video drops as well. Also in that community, I'm always in the community kind of just like talking, dropping gems. And like I said, one of the queens was talking about how, she was interested in investing in crypto and different things. And I was letting them know the type of crypto and different stuff that is best right now to kind of invest in. So if you're wanting resources and you're wanting to be in connection with women who are like-minded and you want to return home, then you might want to come into the Sacred Feminine League because it's a beautiful community. We have a Telegram group, and that's mainly how we tend to communicate. The difference between the Sacred Feminine League and the Muse Activators, that the Muse Activator, we meet weekly. So I meet with the Muse Activator 4 times a month. I meet with the Sacred Feminine League twice a month, but they get 2 videos as well. So everyone is getting about 4 videos, but the presence is different in different programs because the Muse Activator is a very, 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 very deep, intensive program. And it really gets to the core of you and connects you back, not just connects you back to your core, but it supports you in fully expanding and operating in the fullness of your energy. It's that extra boost of confidence that gives you that boldness, right? So, and it's like I said, it's full of powerhouses in there, and it's full of amazing women in the Sacred Feminine League. So if you're looking to return home, the Sacred Feminine League is definitely would be your first stop, okay? But I'm not seeing any questions. So I think everybody is good. So if you have any questions or comments around any of the products or services that I offer, DM me. And make sure you click the link in the bio to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are a reader, then go over there and join me on Substack because I have this thing called the Red Knowledge Tree, and my paid members get the red letters where I go in deep depth, getting to the root of all things around your currencies as women. Your time currency, your beauty currency, your energy currency, your attention currency, your money currency. So every week I'm addressing these things. I've addressed time. I'm about to go into beauty currency now. So you want to sign up for Substack over there. In the free version, you get 2 letters. In the paid version, you get about 5 letters, and you get strategy that you can implement and activate into your life. So if you're wanting to activate some different things in your life, go over there to Substack, become a paid member. Paid members are $22 a month, or you can do $222 for the entire year, or you can become a founding member, which is for $250, and you get the seduction series that is extremely powerful. It talks about how women consistently get seduced all the time by society, by men, because they don't understand seduction, and it teaches you how to protect your light in a world that's obsessed with it. So if you ever wanted to protect yourself, and you want to attract protection, you have to protect self so that you attract protection. And one big way for you to be able to do that is by getting the seduction series, okay? I'm literally talking about how the fallen angels started this whole thing with seduction and women being seduced for information and all this kind of stuff. So I really break all of that down. So you click the link in the bio to get access to that. Sign up for the Red Knowledge Tree. If you want, get access to the paid letters, which is $22 a month or $222 a year, or the founding members rate, which is $250, where you get the seduction series immediately. Okay, those paid letters are basically, to be honest with you, they're written codes. They're written codes. So if you, and like I always say all the time, the Bible is a book of codes that literally teaches you how to maneuver in this life. And so in the red knowledge tree and in the red letters, the paid letters, I'm actually breaking down the code. Okay? So, all right, y'all. I'm about to get off here. I hope to see y'all soon tomorrow, where I'll be having the session for parents who have children who are interested in entrepreneurship and all that great stuff. I will be here live tomorrow at 11:30 Central Standard Time, so you can join. It'll be about an hour, and you can ask the questions you need to ask. But y'all need to be getting y'all kids together. Get yourself together. Get your kids together, baby. For real, because it's wild out here. Okay. All right, my loves. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing day. I will talk to y'all soon. Peace, y'all.